All right, so today we're diving into something, well, it's pretty wild. We're looking at a document that weaves together one family's personal story with nothing less than a grand theory of everything. It's this incredible journey that tries to connect dairy farming, ancient languages, and even modern physics. So let's see just how they try to pull it all together. I mean, just think about that question for a second. What if a simple dairy farm held the key to everything? It sounds like something out of a movie, right? But this is the actual premise of a huge, multi-generational project that tries to take a whole lifetime of experiences and boil it down into one single universal system of knowledge. So, where does an idea this big even come from? Well, it starts with their hands. Before we can even begin to unpack the theories, we have to understand where this family comes from. This whole intellectual system wasn't just dreamed up in an office somewhere. No, it grew out of a very real, very tangible legacy of building and making things. When you look into the family's history, it's just, wow. The range of practical skills is incredible. On one side of the family, you've got traditional vehicle makers, masters of wood and wheels. On the other side, you have builders of sacred architecture. You know, the people who literally shaped the domes for holy places. This hands-on practical knowledge, which the source calls the Vishwakarma artisan tradition, is basically the soil from which this entire philosophy grows. Okay, so you have this really strong foundation in practical skills. But from there, it evolved into this totally unique educational experiment. Their home literally transformed from a workshop into a kind of living laboratory. So get this. For over 30 years, from 1970 all the way to 2006, the family home wasn't just a house. It was something they called the Parents' Open Dairy, Garden, and Home Science School. I mean, just imagine a place where the daily chores of running a farm and tending a garden are completely woven into how you learn, how you grow. And this was way more than just learning by doing. This was about living your education. You had family members getting formal degrees from colleges while also managing the farm. They folded things like scouting, social work, and what they call traditional ecological knowledge right into their everyday lives. The farm itself became this amazing link between the city and the village, a system so unique it was actually documented in a famous Punjabi novel called Merapind. So that brings up a really big question, doesn't it? How do you take all of that? The family history of making things, the farm school, this mix of old traditions and modern learning, and turn it into a single, coherent philosophy. How do you even attempt to make sense of it all? Well, their answer was to develop a framework they call philosology. And the name kind of gives it away, right? It's their proposed link between philosophy, the individual self, and science, or ology. This is the intellectual tree trunk that grew directly from those practical artisan roots we just talked about. And right at the very heart of philosophology is this one single formula, E equals O plus IA. The family sees this as more than just an equation. It's like their Rosetta Stone for understanding the world. Here, E stands for experience. O is the objective part of that experience, and IA is the subjective or active part. Now, the source doesn't get into the mathematical weeds of what the I means, but it presents that whole IA term as the active driving force in the equation. And this table is where things get really fascinating, because it shows just how widely they apply this one formula. In science, for example, O, the objective, is the constant speed of light, while A, the active, is the variable speed of sound. In philosophy, O is idealism and A is realism. They even use it to compare calendar systems. It was even applied in a PhD project where the fruit was the objective product O and the active process of creating renewable energy was A. It's this fundamental pattern they claim to see everywhere, in all fields of knowledge. But they didn't stop there. This incredible drive to unify everything pushed them into one of the most complex and, frankly, most debated areas of human culture, language and its history. This is where they put forward the idea of Ik Gur Mukhi. And in their view, this isn't just the name of a script. It's a whole system that represents the peak, the synthesis of all of world linguistic history, a system that they believe can unify and create compatibility between totally different language families. And to back this up, they lay out a very specific historical path. According to their theory, you can draw a direct evolutionary line from ancient scripts like Phoenician and Aramaic through foundational Indian scripts like Brahmi and Sharada, with it all culminating in Gurmukhi, which they see as the system that finally harmonizes all of them. Now, to really hammer home this vision of a global synthesis, the source material makes a pretty remarkable historical claim. The document asserts that a record from a Roman conclave confirms that Guru Nanak, the founder of Sikhism, actually traveled to Rome and was recognized by Pope Leo X as a common father of our race. For the authors, this claim is huge. It's presented as crucial evidence directly connecting the roots of Sikhism to the heart of the Catholic world. So what's the point of all this? Well, this is where they connect it back to a practical, real-world application. They see their whole Ike Gurmukhi theory as a tool for cultural preservation. You have a foundational language like Sanskrit, which is critically endangered, and they propose their system as a way to protect its knowledge while at the same time building bridges to other major world languages like Aramaic and Greek. Okay, so where does all of this lead? You've got the artisan history, the farm school experiment, these massive unifying theories. What's the end game? Well, it all culminates in a really concrete vision for the future. That's right. The family isn't content to just leave these ideas in research papers. Their ultimate goal is to build an actual institution that puts this entire philosophy into practice. They call it the Ike Gurmukhi World R&D University. And when you look at the mission for this proposed university, you can see how all the pieces we've been talking about just click together. Its main mission? To safeguard the very same artisan knowledge that started this whole journey. It would focus on solving real-world problems, everything from local issues like the floods in their hometown of Patiala, all the way up to global crises. It's a vision for education that's practical, it's holistic, and it's deeply, deeply rooted in the communities that inspired it in the first place. And that leaves us with the big final question, doesn't it? This is just a massive, all-encompassing project, born from one family's very unique life. It proposes a single theory for almost every part of human existence. Could this deeply personal, intensely thought-out life's work actually hold a real blueprint for a different way of learning, of living, and of understanding our world? That, for now, remains a very open question. Thanks for tuning into this Explain.